My name is Rochelle, and this is my place in Canadian history. My family history is pretty convoluted, but from what I found, it starts with John Henry Jack Wheeler in 1864 in Vermont, USA. John's parents were American, and only a sketchy family history has been passed down. Jack had followed the traders and the logging from the States to Montreal to Manitoba and began working as a steam engineer on a boat to Lake Winnipeg. Jack met his wife Suzanne Ramona Gerard 1882 to 1972 while working the lake trips. Her family had property at the mouth of Broken Head and ran an inn called Red Lodge, which was a supply depot, hunting lodge, trade store, and inn. In 1898, Jack and Suzanne married. She was 16 and he was 34. They began traveling around the lake to settlements, and she developed her skill as a midwife at an early age. Suzanne and Jack had 10 children, and in time, Jack returned to the States. She and the family stayed at the homestead and managed alone. When the war broke out, Suzanne's 3 younger sons enlisted. Jack and Suzanne's third-born's name was Louis Franklin Wheeler. He was born June 19, 1910. He married Yvonne Marie Huguet in 1935. Louis was captured immediately after landing on the beaches of Dieppe in 1942. He wrote about how he had seen 2 of his friends blown up right beside him. The shell shock left him with a Parkinson's-like shake in his arm. Louis's saving grace while being a prisoner of war was that he could play the fiddle beautifully, and the Germans loved it. His musical talent saved him multiple times from going to the firing wall where the prisoners of war were lined up to be shot and killed. He was released in 1945 and returned to Canada. Louis's wife Yvonne was born a twin. Her and her twin Corinne were both born deaf, but they could both speak and play piano beautifully. They had 4 children: Geddes 1935, Christopher 1936, Garth 1937, and Muriel 1940 to 2010. They also had 2 children who died soon after birth, Gregory and Marie. Their oldest daughter, Geddes Lucille Marie Wheeler, was born August 24, 1935. She married Eli Trudell in 1953. They had 5 children: Diana, 1953, Janice, 1954, Gail, 1955, Bill, 1956 to 1976, and Tim, 1959. Geddes had a pretty calm life. She bought a $7,000 house when she was 29 and still lives in it to this day. Her life was raising her 5 children and working for small businesses in the Pine Falls area. Her husband Eli's mother died while he was very young, so he and his sister Yvonne spent their early youth living with other relatives. By the age of 16, he was living on his own. Her oldest daughter, Diana Lynn Trudell, was born October 1, 1953. She married Jill Joseph Luke Girton on December 17, 1976. They had 3 children together: Brandy, 1972, Shannon, 1977, and Kelly, 1979. Diana graduated in Powerview and went straight to college and got a degree in electrical drafting that she hadn't done anything with because she was busy raising her children, moving around, and supporting her husband who was in the RCMP. She is now living in Treherne battling breast cancer. Jill graduated at 17, moved across Canada, and struggled with language barriers, only knowing French. His first posting was in Powerview, where he met Diana. He retired at the age of 55 and is now living in Treherne, Manitoba, working as a potato farmer. Their second child, Shannon Jill Marie Girton, was born December 24, 1977. She married Michael Brendan Schmidt in 2007. They had 2 children together: Amelia, 2009, and Christopher, 2010. Shannon had me, Rochelle, in 1999, and I was legally adopted by Michael in 2006. Shannon graduated in 1996, attended college soon after for travel counseling, but chose not to continue in that field, and moved to Winnipeg. She trained as an optician for 4 years. She met Michael in Red Deer, Alberta in 2001. She now owns her own business and raises my siblings and I at home. Michael grew up on a farm in Hallbright, Saskatchewan. He was 17 when he met Shannon. He dropped out in grade 12 to pursue a career in the oil field. At this time, he's managing rig operations at a mine in Bethune. I am Shannon and Michael's oldest child. My name's Rochelle Marie Louisette Girton Schmidt. I was born December 18, 1999, and this was my place in Canadian history.